13 minutes, 39 versions of a set list, 400 crew building and tearing down a floating stage in 8. She's 3 months postpartum, running on Fenty highlighter and pure adrenaline, and the world has been waiting 2,190 days. The beat drops, the platforms rise, and a whole stadium realizes something simple and shocking at the same time. She didn't come back to prove anything. She came back because she owns the moment. Here's the twist. The win wasn't volume, it was controlled. Not more songs, but own the moment. Not work for, but work with. How does a girl from a tiny island walk onto the biggest stage on earth like it's her living room, and do it while building a billion-dollar life off stage? Here's the twist. The real power move wasn't dropping music every year. It was learning when to stop, when to pivot, and when to build what nobody else would build for her. Stay with us, because to understand how she played the long game, we've got to rewind to a cramped bedroom in Barbados and a locked office in New York. Picture a teenager in Barbados sharing a room with 2 brothers, turning up the volume to drown out grown-up problems. She sings at school, in the mirror, anywhere the song can breathe. Then a visiting producer hears that voice and says the most dangerous sentence in any hero story. "You should come to America." Cut to Def Jam. Legend says Jay-Z jokes that the door is locked until a deal gets signed. Bold song choice, even bolder presence. She's 17, and the paperwork says 6 albums. Classmates wonder if she's out of her mind. She calls the shot anyway. That's step 1 in the Rihanna Playbook. Bet on yourself like no one else will. The first album, Music of the Sun, was a starter kit. Dance hall drums, island melodies, bright energy. The early records hit. A club wakes up. A debut single climbs, and the world tries to file her next to whoever's already famous. Comparisons fly. The wardrobe budget is small. The schedule is not. Labels pick singles. Stylists pick looks. Flights blur into stages. Fame arrives, but freedom does not. The next album came 8 months later, A Girl Like Me. That speed shows the pressure she was under and how fast the machine moves when it believes in you. She studies the room. Who gets rich? Who burns out? Who owns what? She learns the quiet math of power. You can sing the song and still not own the song, and that's when the first big switch flips. And to see what happens when Good Girl turns into a global blueprint, we have to walk through a rainstorm made of hooks and a metal umbrella. A silver-painted silhouette, a hook you could shout from a balcony. Overnight, she shifts from new girl to the girl. Fashion sharpens, jet black bob, leather lines, and the brand clicks. This isn't just a voice, it's a visual language. And when features call, she doesn't just hop on tracks, she brands hooks. You could hear 2 seconds and say, that's Rihanna. She cut her hair sharp. She wore leather and gloves. The umbrella hook glued itself to summer. The video, minimal, metallic, memorable, told you this wasn't an opening act anymore. The album Good Girl Gone Bad did what the title promised. She wasn't the next anyone. She was the reference. The run that made her a constant. Shut Up and Drive, swagger over guitars. Don't Stop the Music, Michael's sample, endless dance floor. Hate That I Love You, duet warmth. Features turned into anthems. Live Your Life, Run This Town, 2 seconds of her tone and you knew who it was. Tours scale up, the staircase is taller, the screens are brighter, the gloves get their own fandom. And for the first time, people stop comparing and start copying. She started getting Met Gala invites. That's cultural gravity. But while the lights are blinding, the spreadsheet behind the curtain is not. A money manager moves funny, and suddenly the bank balance tells a story nobody expected. Here's the business lesson. Even the brightest spotlight can't outshine a bad deal. But the long game isn't about never getting hit. It's about building a chin for impact and turning pain into an engine. Because right after the world sees the glow, it sees the grit. A bad night becomes a bold era. The sound gets darker, the hair gets braver, and the brand learns how to take a punch and punch back with art. But fame isn't linear. In 2009, a violent incident made global news. How do you walk back into a studio after that? She answered with an album that felt like metal and midnight. And to understand how reinvention becomes revenue, we have to step into an era that said the quiet part out loud. One of her genius moves is pace. Evolve faster than the industry can label you. Rated R shows teeth, angular visuals, risk-heavy singles, a set design that looks like the future learned to dance. Then Loud flips the switch. Red hair like a logo, festival anthems that turn stadiums into one big chorus, and pin-up sweetness with steel underneath. Then Talk That Talk, club energy, trap textures before trap becomes pop's favorite spice. Controversies come and go. A song gets banned here, a lawsuit settles there. She turns noise into momentum. The VMA medleys stack like trophies. But the bigger play is happening off stage. She starts asking bigger questions. Who picks my singles? Who owns my masters? Who gets paid while I sleep? And that's when reinvention stops being a cosmetic change and becomes a capital plan. Because you can keep winning the sprint, or you can start building the stadium. Which brings us to the decision that changed the game more than any #1 ever could. Before we talk about eyeliner undertones and lingerie runways, we have to learn the 3 words that made the empire possible. Work with, not for. Most celebrity brands rent a name. Slap a face on a bottle, cash the check, fade out when the trend does. She declines the rental. Instead, she partners with the machine, not for it. She brings culture. They bring supply chains. She brings radical inclusion. They bring global distribution. That's not an endorsement. That's ownership. Fenty Beauty launches with a simple, world-shifting idea. Everyone gets a shade. All skin in the game. 40 tones out of the gate becomes the new minimum, not a marketing slogan. Shelves sell out. Receipts rewrite the record book. More importantly, trust compounds. When people feel seen, they stay. Then comes Savage X Fenty. Lingerie stops gatekeeping and starts celebrating. Runways stop being runways and become spectacles. Music, movement, bodies that look like people you actually know. The show becomes the ad becomes the meme, and the meme becomes market share. There are misses too. A high fashion line goes on pause. Here's the boss's move. The story isn't failure. The story is focused. She doubles down on what compounds. Beauty that includes, and a brand that dances. Quiet power, loud results. Mantra check. Build your own door. Be a boss without yelling. Own what outlasts the tour. And yet, there's a chapter where she does the bravest thing an artist with momentum can do. She steps back from the radio chase and makes the record she hears in her head, not the one the charts demand. To feel how art and leverage can live in the same room, we have to talk about an album with no filler and one giant flex. Here's the play. Take your time, control your masters, and make a project that treats every track like a headline. Work slides in with island DNA and instant classic chemistry. Then the album arrives, moody, melodic, messy in the human way, and proves you don't have to make 12 singles to make one statement. A tech giant funds the rollout. 1 million downloads move in one swoop, and chart math tries to argue with history. No problem. Week 2 adjusts, and the numbers fall in line with the feeling. This one's going to live for years. Streams stack into billions, records fall, the tour looks like confidence stitched into monochrome. Vocals get center stage. The visuals say, less glitter, more gaze. Then the Vanguard moment. 4 performances in one night, each a different version of self, from pink pinup to dance hall queen to sleek couture. There's even an on-stage almost kiss that breaks the internet for a week. The point isn't the gossip, it's the gravity. She's not chasing cool anymore. Cool is orbiting her. And right when the world assumes the next album is weeks away, she flips the script one more time. Because the next era isn't about tracks. It's about life, babies, a halftime show in Scarlet, and a reminder that you can pause without losing power. To see how the brand and the person merge into one unstoppable story, we're heading to the floating platforms in red and the boardrooms painted Fenty. First, the walk. A yellow cape at the Met that becomes an instant meme to museum pipeline. Then, the talk. Philanthropy that moves like logistics, education, emergency response, communities first. Her foundation puts its budget where its mouth is. Personal life goes quiet by design. A relationship becomes a family. Street style becomes maternity style, and the bump stops hiding. Another norm gets rewritten. You don't pause glamour to become a parent, you evolve it. Then the halftime call. She says yes for all the reasons that matter. Representation, Barbados on the biggest stage, a son who gets to see mom do the impossible. The rehearsal notes read like a military op. 13 minutes, 0 dead air, 39 set list tweaks, breath control like an athlete. The performance is a masterclass in minimum moves, maximum meaning. Red against white. Platforms in the sky. A set list that reminds everyone why the streaming numbers never dipped. Meanwhile, the business keeps shipping. New drops, new lines. Hair care joins the family. A legacy fragrance campaign nods to old glamour while printing new receipts. If you're keeping score, the pattern is clear. She learned early that attention isn't ownership. She used culture as capital. She partnered up without giving up. She played the long game so she could pick her moments. And that brings us to you. Because this isn't just a celebrity highlight reel, it's a blueprint any builder can borrow. Before we land, let's break the playbook into moves you can run tomorrow morning. Move number 1. Work with, not for. If you're lending your name, you're renting your power. If you're co-creating, you're compounding it. Bring something irreplaceable, community, taste, point of view, and trade it for levers you don't have yet. Distribution, capital, expertise. Move 2. Inclusion is not charity. It's strategy. Serving the people big brands overlook isn't just nice. It's a market. When folks feel seen, they stick, they spend, and they spread the word for free. Move number 3. Pace beats pressure. Momentum is great. Mastery is better. Take a cycle to build the product you can live with for a decade, not the single that owns a week. Move number 4. Brands outlast breaks. A tour ends. Ownership doesn't. If the revenue only comes when you show up, you've built a job. If it comes when you're road tripping or changing diapers, you've built a business. Move number 5. Quiet power is still power. You don't have to post every meeting. Let the drops do the talking. Surprise turns heads, consistency keeps them. Move number 6. Reinvent on purpose. If no one opens up, make one. And after you walk through, hold it open for the next voice. That's how moments become movements. And if you're wondering whether this is too risky, remember the red suit 200 feet in the air. Safety is not where legends live. Which brings us back to the first question. How did she turn fame into freedom? Let's land this. Rihanna's story reads like a hook you can't get out of your head. A kid from Barbados sings her way into a New York office, learns the rules, and then quietly rewrites them. She builds a brand that belongs to everybody and a life that belongs to no one but herself. She takes the crown not by shouting, but by shipping. She takes breaks without breaking momentum. She becomes the rare thing in modern culture, a person who can step away and come back stronger, because the engine she built keeps running whether she's on stage or on a road trip with the windows down. The lesson isn't that you need 9 trophies or 14 number ones. It's that you need a center of gravity, your taste, your tribe, your terms. Protect that, partner smart, and let time do what time does. Reward the builders. Be the boss without yelling. Work with, not for. Build your own door. And when you turn the handle, don't forget to leave it unlocked for the next Sarah, the next island kid, the next voice that feels too small for the room. Because one day they'll be the one on the platform in red, reminding the world that power isn't loud, it's owned. You've been watching Hidden Billionaire. If Rihanna's your diamond girl, make that like button sparkle. One tap is enough. YouTube only lets you like once. We checked. Help this video shine bright like a diamond in the algorithm. Love quiet power and loud wins? Stick around for more. Hit subscribe if ownership hype. See you next time.